we will cover the bearish scenarios on every time frame. That is what we're going to do today. And then we go to the bullish scenarios, but the bearish scenarios today have a priority because you only get one chance in the year to cover the bearish scenarios on Friday the 13th. So that's what we're going to do. So we go to the monthly, to the weekly, to the daily, to the 4-hour, to the 15-minute. And we're going to talk a lot of bearishness-ish scenarios. Because I will not let this opportunity slip. Of course, after that, we do cover the bulls as well. But yeah, exactly. Target is 666 or 66,000. Oh, wait, that's bullish. Oh, no, wait. Happy Bear Day. Exactly, Sam. Exactly. Yeah. Happy Bear Day, everyone. So, how you doing? How you doing? Let's see what price action is going to give us on this day. Let me know, by the way, if you're going to do anything that has to do with Friday the 13th. If you go with your, like, I don't know. Maybe I think Halloween is getting the candy from the doors, right? I don't know if people do anything on Friday the 13th. It's probably bigger in the US than it is here in Europe. But it is still just an interesting theme nonetheless, right? So, yo, Andrew, what's up? Gabriel, how you doing? Maybe a Band-Aid NTT. Welcome, welcome. Scrolling down here was a little bit of chatting before I was live. Mike, good to have you here. Last 6 months, potential impulse up turns out to be a correction. Exactly. A 3-wave move to the upside. Down to 15K, yo. Okay, let's close Spotify. There we go. So, Solid Fab, Leva, welcome. By the way, Leva, if you come to Nice, shoot me a message. I'll probably be able to find some time. If you're in the area and would like to meet, of course. Is Simba with you? You know, Simba has to be there. Simba isn't there, you know, we don't have interest. Flotty, how you doing, man? Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. I can't give you any hearts on the live stream, but now you have at least 302 in total. Errol, welcome. Kiwi, what's up? How you doing? Good evening in your case, or good night almost, no? Maybe even good night already. Sariga, welcome. WXY, yeah, you need a zigzag down though, but yeah, what's up, Blaster, Sam, Look Sky? No Lambo, not tonight. Hunter, how you doing? Dara, welcome. I want to see what would be Koen's absolute lowest price for Bitcoin from his most bearish count. The lowest would be a flat structure on the weekly. I mean, now we're talking weekly, which is not considered monthly, but even on the monthly, your lowest price would be a regular flat on a weekly time frame where Bitcoin has reached the target for a regular flat wave B. You're looking for a C down. Most common target for C is past A, meaning below 15K. So the area probably, if I would pull the fibs, is going to be between like 6 and 15K would be your absolute Friday the 13th most bearish scenario. Bad weather, a lot of rain, 10 degrees. No regret sitting in front of the charts instead of a mountain bike trail. Yeah, I can imagine. Of course, the real diehards, they go whatever the weather, right? But we do like some nice comfort and sitting inside, doing some trades and wait for the rain to pass before jumping on the bike. You already had your workout yesterday. Your muscles need to calm down, right? You always need a rest day. Like yesterday, I went hard in the gym. Not gonna lie, today, I'll be in the sauna. So I'll be working on my body in a jacuzzi, the sauna, and the steam room. I'm still in the quote-unquote gym, you know, but yeah, you gotta take care of the body. What's up, Bar? How you doing, Kiwi? Good morning. Yeah, exactly. We'll let you know when I'm in Nice. Yeah, cheers, Leva. Chester B Tester, morning. Good morning, Adam. Good to have you here from the US. Gabriel, let's put this scenario in the folder. 58.4, 55. Oh, that's a drop, then 60. So that would be a WXY type of structure. Then 43.50. That means a wave B. Then 66 would be a wave C. Okay, so this is Gabriel is always it's like solving a puzzle. What he does is like, yo, Koen, can you put this into a wave structure? And he just like does pop, 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 mentions the numbers, and then it's up to me to make something of it. But this would be a three-wave structure, right? So you'd be looking for a WXY here to 60K, retrace down for a wave B to 50. 43 is too low, so you need 50. Then get a wave C up to 66, above 65. And then you need a wave C to the downside. The issue, so what I didn't mention this morning is that the expanding diagonal, besides being very rare, has one main issue, which we're going to cover in this live stream as well. Yeah. BBL, welcome, man. Happy Onam from Kerala. Happy Onam. I don't know what it is, to be honest, what Onam is, but if that's a festivity day or festive day in your country, happy Onam. Good morning, Ramsey. Asteroid, my most bearish count. Exactly. Black Swan event. Yo, SW Mods, how you doing? Welcome. So let's get this started, shall we? As mentioned, only once a year do we have the opportunity to count bearish scenarios on Friday the 13th. So it fits the theme. So we are going to do exactly that. Now, with regards to the previous update, and then I'll cover the bullish, of course. We're still neutral, right? But it's just a nice day to use as an excuse. So other than that, on the local time frame, 1 hour time frame, nothing changed so far. My area of interest would still be to see price move to the support below. I mean, that would be, of course, nice, because I'm interested in observing the reaction here, because probabilities remain high to take the high. Got an 886 touch here as well. So the diagonal that Bettina came up with is, of course, interesting. Looking for 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and then get a retracement. That would be a must-have for the bulls, instead of counting this as a WX and then look for a wave Y, and then you basically get the scenario that Gabriel posted in the chat, but he posted the numbers. So the bulls need to have either a diagonal or a multi 1-2 here, meaning 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and then get a wave 3. Problem for that scenario is that the weekend is coming up. The weekend generally is a sideways ranging structure for 2 days. And if you do create a multi 1-2, you preferably start the week, right? Or you're in the middle of the week, but not on a Friday. Unless on Friday we get the most enormous wave 3, which would counter the whole Friday the 13th vibe, to be honest. But the portfolios won't mind. The trade won't mind. But, the theme of the day minds. It's a festival here. We celebrate in Sadja, and dressed in a sari for ladies and mundu shirt for men. I gotta educate myself on global parties, because I don't really know what the clothes are, but enjoy that day. It's that one day in the year. So just shortly, have a look at least, right? Diagonal, bullish, preferably your wave 5, not yet in. It's difficult to count a finished 5-wave structure here, right? As in an impulse or ending diagonal. Due to impulse, overlap, and else you have an expanding diagonal, which is very rare. So that increases probabilities for either a diagonal or the bearish scenario. And the only difference is in the bearish scenario, you can take that low. But then you would still expect a move back up to still take these highs. So anyway, let's start with what you came for. Friday the 13th. And we're going to start on... Let's start on the monthly time frame with the analysis, the bearish analysis. That's what we're going to start with. The bullish scenarios, I'm only interested in the lower time frames, right? I kind of covered that earlier. But because of the day, we will cover the bearish scenarios first on all time frames. Yo, Tim, what's up, man? What's up? I just did the CVD Google form from... Oh, okay. SW Mods, you're from Sri Lanka, yeah? Incredible. I've only seen pictures from Sri Lanka. Kiwi, I see it. I'll make sure to check it after. I've only seen pictures of Sri Lanka because the parents of my wife have been there, I don't know, like last year? My son's birthday was yesterday. Congratulations to your son and to you. In the Netherlands, not everyone knows, but in the Netherlands, when it's someone's birthday, we don't only congratulate the person, him or herself, but also the direct family or like a boyfriend or a wife or, you know. So we always congratulate the group of people. Yeah. So we're going to start on the monthly time frame. Now, as mentioned, because of Friday the 13th, we are going to cover the bearish scenarios on every time frame, all the way down to the lower time frame, meaning the 1 hour. And then we will cover a little bit of the bullish scenarios on daily 1 hour. Like those would be the only two time frames that would be interesting. Of course, well, let's do the weekly. We'll be done quickly on the weekly with the bulls anyway. So okay, let's start, shall we? There is two bearish scenarios on the monthly time frame. Actually, I want to start with the most bearish scenario because of the special day we have. First of all, right, is a scenario you might recognize because of my weekly time frame analysis, right, which is what you see here on the chart. And before I begin, let's wait till the clock hits 18 so I can remember. Let me put 18 in the chat as well. Wait, okay, there we go. So, the first bearish scenario is a scenario which you may recognize like when I do weekly time frame analysis because of what you see over here, right? So in this scenario, we have a finished 5-wave monthly impulse to the upside. So internally, we have a 5-wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So we have a finished 5-wave structure. And after the high at 69K, right? Or 65. Sometimes there is like the chatting of, can we park a wave 4 here and can we put wave 5 here? I don't really like putting wave 4 here, to be honest. I would prefer doing this. But we are looking for a bigger 3-wave structure to the downside, a bigger sideways range in a WXY or an ABC. Now in a wave WXY, we would be looking for this to indeed be then a flat structure in a W, a 3-wave X, a zigzag, a family structure, and then we look for wave Y. Now because wave W is a flat, wave Y can be a zigzag, can be a flat itself, or can be a bigger triangle. Now, most commonly, wave Y turns into a zigzag or a flat. But because W is already a flat, and if we apply the rule of alternation, commonly wave Y is different to W, right? So therefore, preferably your wave Y would be a zigzag structure in a 5-3-5, which of course is a little bit challenging when we look at the lower time frames on a daily time frame, for example, because a multi 1-2 doesn't really look great anymore and an expanding diagonal is very rare. So of course, even in those scenarios, your alternative would still be a flat, which would actually, of course, be hilarious. You basically swipe the highs and then move down to 30K. Now, the most bearish scenario would be an ABC regular flat. So in this particular scenario, you have your 3-wave in A, 3-wave B finished at the same top. and then you look for a wave C to the downside. Now this is your most dramatic scenario that you have on the chart at the moment. You can see that the target area for a wave B in a regular flat so far has been perfectly respected. This target sits between 63.6k and 71.6k. Of course, we wicked below, but if you look at the candle closes, perfection. Now, in this scenario, your target, which I'm going to take, let's take 2 pools. Your target for your wave is C, right? Is the low of A till, 1 second here, got to put this on my chart. So the low of A, so I can remove this, to the 1.236. So that is your common target area for a wave C, which is between 15.4k and 11.6k. Just quickly putting a little bit of makeup on the chart here. Now, a less common target is the 1.618 for a regular flat wave C, which is sitting at 6.5k. So we're going to make this one orange, just because it is less common in a regular flat. And then we put an orange box here. So makes me think what Mike just said. Mike said, the most... Now, who asked that? I don't know. Someone asked just now about, Koen, what would be the absolute lowest price? Was that Mike? I don't know. That you can think of when because of the day, Friday the 13th, in case you don't know, what's the absolute most bearish scenario that you can have at the moment? And I said, probably a regular flat target between 6 and 15, not too far off, 6.5 to 15.4. So exactly blast. And what's up, Mark, by the way? Good to have you here as well. Power Meet. Welcome, welcome. Sibel, good to have you here. Karel, we doomed. Today's the day. So, of course, that's your most bearish scenario, right? Where your target for wave C is below the low of your wave A. And the target for your wave Y, minimum target, is the 0.618. And the 0.618 is sitting at right about 30k. So that is why I actually don't know. Why is it? There's a small difference. Oh, that's why I took it from the high of 5. I see. Never mind. So about 30k. Maybe I should just make it 30k. There we go. Oh, 1 second here. Which of course would be a beautiful scenario to have a drop that far. Immediately throw out the window the 4-year cycle chatting. It happened already 3 times or 4 times before, so surely it will happen again. It's the same as Max Verstappen winning every race last year. He can't win every race, right? Anyway, so yeah. So far, this is your most bearish scenario on a monthly time frame. Your alternative bearish scenario, or it's not like alternative bearish scenario, but your other bearish scenario, which still first creates an all-time high, so it's just less bearish, is 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you have a very long wave 5. Now, it has to be said that probability-wise, having such a long wave 5 compared to a relatively short one, it's very long in time, but it's still a scenario that works because wave 1 and wave 3 are relatively similar in time. Wave 5, of course, can be extended, which is the case here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But your target most commonly is higher. Now, officially, your target has been reached, because a minimum target is taking out the high of 3, which we did because we took all-time high. But a wave 5 needs to be a 5-wave structure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But then it's one more high, and then you go down much further than the general expectation would be, because then you're going to be looking to finish, of course, this whole structure. And then you're only going to start a multi-year bigger bear market to lower prices. Everyone following Plans B indicator will be like, oh, what the fuck, man. So that's the monthly time frame. Let's go back to my Coinbase chart and talk about the weekly. So, weekly time frame. I already covered the most bearish scenario, honestly, on the monthly, so I don't want to cover this. I will just show it. Right, so, oh, not that one. Oh, here we go. It's a little bit less like nicely decorated, but you get the point, right? WXY or ABC, it's exactly the same. So that being said, let's go to the daily, right? Because the weekly is not different. So daily bearish scenarios. Happy Friday the 13th. Happy Friday the 13th, Holo Crypto. Yeah, Lucifer, that's the reason I moved to France. No, KW, that's a joke. I mean, it's a great person. He's a great person, and I'm sure he's been very valuable to many people, right? He built a great system, a great trading plan that he's sharing with pretty much everyone online, right? So in a way, it's very respected. It's very like, how do you call it? It's very nice that he puts so much effort into creating something and then shares it with many people. And there's a lot of data, right? So I think it takes, it does take a special person to find out something like this, and then of course share it with the rest of the world and be like, yo guys, I'm there you go. And so far I can imagine it has helped many people. And of course everything goes right till it one day goes wrong. Yeah, in the end, data. I will move a couple of folders just to see what I have going on here, because, man, it's actually really bright in my room. So I'm trying to, even though the light is coming from the side, I need this one, I need this one, I need that one. So these go up. Yeah, Bettina pattern. Not sure if Bettina is here, but if you are here, got your pattern in my folders, which is a diagonal. Okay, we got to put this one in. Oh, well, for the bulls, we will put that one in, but bullish talk is only after, though. That's bullish, that's bullish, that's good. This is bullish, so that's for later. That's also later. Covered. Oh yeah, let's start with this most bearish scenario. Okay, there we go. Very nice. I do like theme days. I should have actually maybe asked Jeroen to make a thumbnail for Friday the 13th. Anyway, the most bearish scenario on a daily time frame is what you see on my chart right now, which is a double 1-2, which will easily get you below 40K. Now, in this scenario, we have a leading diagonal. We will talk about the probabilities after the analysis, okay? So, in this case, double 1-2, leading diagonal in wave 1. A 3-wave flat structure running flat in a wave 2. Then another wave 1. WXY sharp zigzag in a wave 2. And then, of course, after this, we actually want to see impulsive structures down. We're going to talk about this structure in a second. Your invalidation is the high at 65K, right? And you can see that price did hit the 886 while creating the price action of the first two. Now, the 886, of course, is very rare for a wave 2, lowers the probabilities for a wave 2. But at least, because of this special day, and this is also, by the way, real, but after a diagonal, you do like to see a deep retracement. Now, a deep retracement for a wave 2 is like golden pocket, 786 is your preferred area compared to an 886, but the 886 is a deep retracement, right, after a diagonal. So after a diagonal, you always like to see a deep retracement. That is most common, and the 886, of course, is the most deep target that you have. It's just more common for corrective structures than impulsive structures. But nonetheless, it fits the theme of today, so that's why we cover it. Then we have our 1, 2. Now, preferably this wave 2 here is finished, and all of this price action over here, right, is not part anymore of this wave 2. And that is because of time. Because if we compare, right, if this is your wave 1 and this is your 2, then let me talk along one more vertical line on the chart, because the high of your wave 2, right, finished, okay, here, finished at around the 3 fib time, meaning this structure is 3 times longer than this structure, which is perfectly fine for a wave 2. But now, price here is ranging between the 5 and 6 fib time, right? So preferably after this high, you get an impulse down, not a 3-wave structure down. Because if we are looking for a multi-1-2 to very low prices, right? This is basically going, this is your most bearish scenario to 6 to 15K, right? In this case, you actually wanted to see an impulse down, 1, 2, and then you get your very big wave 3 to the downside, right? Shit hits the fan. But because of the possibility here, the probabilities remain higher. This is a 3-wave structure, right? If we want to include this in a wave 2 and make this a bigger 3-wave structure in 2, the issue is time, because your wave 2 is going to be so big. Because it's already past the 5, approaching the 6 fib time, and then it's not yet finished, and it's going to be like an enormous 2 compared to your 1, which is not really, of course, what we would like to see. Now, I have attempted to count the price action locally as a bearish impulse recently. I don't actually think I still have it in my folders, but that doesn't matter because it's a special day, so we're going to count it. So on the 1 hour time frame, this is the only way I can count this move to the downside as an impulse, right? But it still looks ridiculous. So nonetheless, it's Friday the 13th. So this would be your 1 and your 2, right? Then you need a wave. Sorry, that's your wave 1. Then we need 1 second here. Need to think again. W, X, Y. Then you need your 3. You need your 4, and you need your 5. There we go. And then 2 is a WXY, right? Wave 4. This is a zigzag. So this also either needs to be a running flat or WXY here. That's price action we did in the past. Now, even though all the Elliott wave rules are respected, and there's only 3 rules. Wave 2 is not allowed to take the origin of 1. Didn't happen. Wave 1 and wave 4, right, are not allowed to overlap. Now, this is an interesting one. I just say all the rules are respected, and here I am talking about overlap. Sorry, the end of wave 4 here doesn't have overlap with wave 1, so take me on that one, right? I'll talk about this in a second. And then your, so wave 3 is not allowed to be the shortest, which I actually think is also the case. So what the fuck am I talking here? Wait. Oh man, This is not what I had. Man, I'm literally like, I'm fucking this up. God, what did I have on my chart? It was so nice. I had like an impulsive count here, which worked. Just the fact I have to think for it for this long. So wave 2, of course, not allowed to take the origin of 1. 4 and 1 are not allowed to overlap, and 3 is not allowed to be the shortest. What did I have here? 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, wait. 1, 2. Oh, I remember. I think I remember. 1 second. I need to do that, and then I need to do this, and then I need to do this. 3, 4, 5. 1 second. I'm getting there. Memory loading. Right. I'm getting there. And then we have this, and then we have this. Yeah. I'm getting there. Give me a second. God, I should have saved this in my folder, man. Okay. So we have that. Make this like clearly visible, because people watching on their phones are like. So put this here. Okay, there we go. 1 second, let me double check here. Pop. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then we have. And then we don't want a truncation, so that's your 4, that's your 3, that's beautiful. There we go. Okay, it took me a little bit more time because I didn't have it in my folder. So then we have our 1, 2. Now, mind you, it's the only way to count this as an impulse. It's still not nice, okay? But it's Friday the 13th. So we then have 1, 2, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Finish 3, 4, 5, right? Your blue 3 is longer than blue 4, right? Internally, your 3 over here is longer than your 5 as well. All right, so that works, as well as your wave 1. The only quote-unquote issue is that your wave 4 and 1 overlap here. Your wave 4 and 2 overlap. Now, when we look at Elliott wave rules, as mentioned, wave 2 is not allowed to take the origin as of 1. So, okay, the blue one, we good. Y2 didn't take the high. Okay, that's cool. Wave 3 is not allowed to be the shortest, right? So, wave 3 here is longer than 1 and 5. So, okay, that works. Blue 3, longer than 5, right? So, okay, that works. And wave 1 and 4 are not allowed to overlap. So wave 1 has to end here. This is your 4. There's no overlap. And then you have, again, 1 and 4. There's no overlap. Right? So according to the rules, it's valid. However, there is a so-called strong guideline from Elliott Wave International, which says the following. A strong guideline says wave 4 is not allowed to overlap the price action of wave 2. It's a guideline, so it's not a rule. However, in this scenario, of course, your wave 2 price action overlaps with your wave 4 price action. So your rule is okay, 1 and 4 did not overlap. It's just that 4 and 2 overlapped. But hey, it's a guideline, it's not a rule. So theoretically, on Friday the 13th, we have a valid impulse to the downside. I actually think I thought about this one on stream either yesterday or 2 days ago. I thought about this. This for me is the only way to count this as an impulse to the downside. There's no other way I can make this according to the rules. So of course, when we then zoom out again and go to the daily time frame, then what you see on my chart now, let me actually put this for our just save this as a folder. So that means that in that case, we would count this on Friday the 13th as a 1, we look for 2, and then we look for a very big wave 3 to the downside. Now the common target for your wave 2 is between the 05 and the 786 taken from this start to, let me turn this off here, clean it up a bit and remove this. Taken from the high to the low, right? Common target is the blue box that I'm going to put on my chart right now. So the target is between 58.7 and 62.3k. Beautiful. Yo, Blaster, send me a screenshot in Discord. Tag me. I'll be checking it out. Yo, Cheese, how you doing? Yasir, thanks, man. Appreciate it. Your kindness. Yo, Cheese, nice to see you live, man. It's been crypto winter for 2 years already. We're still trading within the 2021 range. I know, right? But we had a good move to the upside. Could go 65k before FOMC and create higher low. 65 at the moment would be very high. You only go above 65 if this would be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2 and you get a 3. Else there's no chance. At least today. I don't know when FOMC is. Kiwi, I'm gonna go to sleep now. Make sure to check out the VOD. have a good night, man, in New Zealand. Have a good night. Take care. Okay, take care. Okay. I need to put these two together here. Daily bear impulse, 4-hour bear impulse. So that is your most bearish scenario. Actually, I have to make this wide. Now, price already hit the 382, but the 382 is a uncommon target. That's why I like to keep these orange. Ta-da! So that is the most bearish scenario. And then time-wise, let's have a look. We want this wave 2 to end after the 382, but we already passed the 382, so that's perfectly fine. So we respected time. And preferably we still go a little bit higher because we do like to hit the white area. And then you know, pretty much 15k next. So that is your most bearish scenario on this special day. All the other bearish scenarios are actually not so bearish. Okay, second one. So, because we first covered bearish scenarios due to the day. In case you didn't notice, it's Friday the 13th. So we have a WXY here. 3-wave W, running flat in X, and then a wave Y. Right? Now in wave Y, we then have an ABC 535. And wave C in this scenario is labeled as a ending diagonal. Now in that case, we then count this move to the downside as a 3-wave structure, right? So we then have a 3-wave in 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. In an ending diagonal, all of the waves have to be zigzag family structures. You can't have an impulse in a 1, 3, or 5. It needs to be a 3-wave structure. Now the invalidation is price taking out the high again, so 65k, right? Important. And then you have your C. So we're working on 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and then target area 44.1 to 39.1k for your wave C. Now, what is a bit of a thing in this scenario? Look, time is never an invalidation. Time is never a confirmation. Time has an impact on probabilities. And in this case, you have a wave 1, which by itself is almost twice the length of wave A in time. So you can imagine that if price is going to finish this diagonal is going to be it's going to 8 times, 9 times. If you continue building price action like this in time, it's gonna be a long structure, no? So it does impact the probabilities to count this as an A, B, and a diagonal in a C. Preferably, if we would get a zigzag structure in the green Y, preferably we would have just seen a sharp move, A, B, C, and get it over with, right? It's not what we got, no? Of course, we can still, that's your alternative, of course, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? So get an impulse down. This is then counted the same way I just did. And then you look for 2 and a bigger 3 and then 4 and then 5, preferably ending here. And then you move up. So that is, of course, this scenario is still bearish. It's just a lot less bearish than this, because this is your, down to 15K bearish scenario. Okay. And this is your down into the 40s, but then you're still in a bull market, right? You still look for price to move towards the upside. Carol, 7K not so bad. No, I was talking about this one. This one is not so bearish, and the other one is bearish. Yeah, Merry Christmas. I know, right? Bloody times. Remember this analysis in December. Yeah. What are the math principles Elliott waves are based? 1 second, let me answer this question quick. Make sure to go to Discord, go to the educational content, Elliott waves, and download these two files. And this is research from a very well-known Elliott wave analyst in the world, Mr. Swannell. And he's dedicated, pretty much... by now you can almost call it his lifetime, but in this case, I think this research was when he was 10 or 15 years in, with many traders, thousands of charts, lots of data. You can check it out. So a lot of statistics in here. So make sure, if you want data, if you want statistics, then that would be the place to be. That's the, yeah. So anyway, I spoke about this scenario and the probabilities. It's just your time in C. Is it a valid scenario? Yes, absolutely, right? There's no reason for it to be wrong. It's just that your wave C is going to be so incredibly long compared to your wave A, which therefore lowers the probabilities. It's much better for a wave C to be, a little bit shorter. Now, when we look at zigzags, this little tip, when you look at sharp corrective structures like a zigzag, I should say, in a zigzag, ABC, right, it is most common for wave A to be short and sharp and wave C to be slow, right? Now, a typical example of this is what we saw down here. Down here. This is your wave A. This is your wave C. And if you go to the lower time frame, which let me go to the lower time frame actually to a better example. So if we go to the lower time frame and zoom in, this is a typical ABC with a staircase structure in your C, right? Down, sideways, down, sideways, down, sideways. And if we pull a fib time from the start to then the end to over here, and we toggle on the fib times, then you can see here we ended around 4. But this is still 4. This is not 10, right? So 4, as you can see, based on my fib times for a wave 4, it's not past 6. But anyway, a wave C can take a while, right? So bearish scenario number 2. And that, those are like your two, I guess, I want to say nicest, but it's, let's just say those are two bearish scenarios. Both have similar price action, because in both cases you look for a 3-wave in 2, but then in the most bearish case you get an impulse down. In this quote-unquote bullish case you get a 3-wave down. I mean, that's the only difference. And then we have this. Now this scenario, right, is first of all the lowest probability out of all. What's up, MT? It's Friday the 13th, eh? So we got to talk about this stuff. We got to open the box to talk about the bears. So in this scenario, you have an expanding diagonal in 1 or A, flat in B or 2, and then you get your big move down. Now the only issue, and this is what I wanted to talk about, is your expanding diagonal. Expanding diagonal is very rare, very, very, very rare. Right? It's never preferred unless all of the other structures fail, which means that all the other scenarios have a higher probability than this until proven otherwise. Another thing is that in a expanding leading diagonal, wave 1 or A, right? Wave 2 and wave 4 has to be a zigzag, double zigzag, or triple zigzag. But by all means, it has to be a move like this to the upside. Now, in this particular scenario, right, we are then looking at an expanding diagonal that we cannot count nicely as a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, because your wave 4 here is very much looking like an impulse. So you can only count this then as a wave 1, 2, right? And then you need to go into funny business, or by the way, you have 1, 2, right? Sorry, that's not a lot. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, also not allowed. So I'm doing a little bit of live analysis. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You would need to end it over here. But then this is a wave C, not a wave A. So you can see that this expanding diagonal, because of this move, right, we can, like, this is very low probabilities to be a zigzag. So, and this would be your wave 4, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And that is the problem of this scenario. It's this structure. So if we want to count it, we need to count it like the subwaves, that is. We need to count it differently. I want to do an attempt though. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your basic. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then, oh, wait. A, B, C. Oh, wait, I got it. 1 second here. 1 second. So that, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1 second here. A little bit of... Okay, so then, of course, internally here, we have either a zigzag or ABC, but let's, for the sake of simplicity, put an ABC there. Not there though. Okay, we're getting somewhere. Then we have, yeah, this was of course very, very, very awkward. WXY, or this needs to be A, B, and then C, but by all means, this is the end of your wave 4. Who cares? And then you have A, B, there we go. Beautiful. Beautiful. So up. Nice. Done. And then you have a zigzag A, B, C with a flat in B. Okay, there you go. So now that we have this on the chart, you know how it works. We just remove everything because now you know the subdegree. So that is your 1 or A. Now an expanding diagonal, of course. Razor, by the way, if you're here. Yo, cheers, Karel. Oversold. It's Friday the 13th. I actually don't know what you mean, but I guess thanks in a way. Here we have an expanding diagonal, which is very rare. It's never preferred unless everything else fails. But then we have our A, B, C, which means you're looking for zigzag, correction, zigzag the moment price hits 61.2. This scenario has lower probabilities. And then we have our wave B down here, 45 to 43K, and then get C up to take out the high. Create a flat, 2B in, and then you move down to much lower prices. Those are all the bearish scenarios. Now, when we talk about probabilities, let me put this in the... Now, mind you, the reason, by the way, for the people that do understand, not sure if Carol understood, it is Friday the 13th, and you only have one chance to talk about every bearish scenario on Friday the 13th. So that is what we do today. And we will cover the bearish scenarios on the weekly and then the daily, as well as the local time frame. I get it. I wasn't sure what you meant, but now we will cover the bullish scenarios, right? So, of course, as an Elliott wave trader, we always need to be unbiased, right? Even though it's Friday the 13th, of course, today we are mega bearish, but as an analyst, and especially a content creator, of course, you always have to be biased with Elliott waves, no? So you always have bullish and bearish scenarios, and then you talk about probabilities. Now, I can talk about probabilities in a nutshell. First of all, on the monthly time frame, we covered in case you weren't here at the beginning. So let me quickly explain probabilities, then we go to the bullish scenarios. So the probabilities for the most bearish scenario on the monthly, this one here, which is a regular flat ABC or a WXY, is at the moment, right, not the highest probability. The bulls still have the probabilities in their favor. A running flat, meaning wave B touching the 09 to the 105, is a uncommon pattern, right? The most common flat is an expanding flat, where wave B goes to the 1.236 to the 1.38, which is higher, right? Now, a regular flat, which is what you see here, right, below 15K, is a uncommon flat. And then you have a WXY, and by itself, a WXY is, of course, a structure in Elliott waves, but WXYs do, in probabilities, generally have lower probabilities than the simple structures, like a zigzag or a flat, even a triangle. Side note, wave X went above your W, which is less common for an X in a sideways double combo, but nonetheless, you want to see strong daily probabilities to the downside, which at the moment we don't have, because the probabilities on the 4 hour are higher. The move from 65 to 52 is a 3-waver, not an impulse. But we do have an impulse as an alternative. So that is the reason behind the probabilities on the monthly, but better be prepared, of course, just in case. And the first probabilities, if you do switch to bearish probabilities, the first probabilities that switch bearish are going to be 15-minute probabilities, and then the 1 hour, then the 4 hour, then the daily, and then the weekly, right? So from a trader's perspective, if you wait for the weekly to become bearish in probabilities, you're way behind the curve, right? You should already have your shorts entered way earlier before getting into, the weekly is bearish now, because it all starts, of course, on the lower time frames, which we analyze here as well. Now, on a daily time frame, we covered 3 scenarios. First of all, of course, the multi 1-2, right? The fact we touch the 886 here does lower the probabilities. Counting this move to the downside, you have overlap between wave 2 and wave 4, as shown here, which lowers the probabilities. This is an impulse. We can count it as an impulse according to the Elliott wave rules, but a strong guideline is that you don't want overlap between a wave 2 and a wave 4, which you do have if we want to count this as an impulse down, which lowers the probabilities for this to be a wave 1, which automatically lowers probabilities for this whole thing, right? Because if this is not a wave 1 down, and all of this price action is still part of blue 2, your blue 2 is 5 to 6 times longer and still going in time compared to 1. which in time is very long for a blue 2, right? For a wave 2, lowers the probabilities that all of this is a wave 2. Most common time target for 2 is the 382 to like a 4 fib time, right? That's by far where you will end most of your structures, right? If we pull away a fib time here from the start to the end of this one, this wave 2 nicely ended in green before the 2 fib time. Perfect, right? You take one from the start to the end here. This wave 2 ended at the 3 fib time. Perfect. But if we would end wave 2 somewhere here, you can see we are already, it's a bit messy on my chart now, between the 5 and the 6 fib time here. It's very long for wave 2. Up. So therefore, preferably it's another 1, 2. Yep. Okay. Right. So, and then we have this scenario I already explained. Now, wave C is in a zigzag structure commonly slower than your wave A. Of course, there's always scenarios where that is not true, like over here. But the example of 24, 25K, that's where you had a slow C. So can be very slow, can be very fast. But if wave A is fast, wave C tends to be slow. If wave A is slow, wave C tends to be fast, alternation. Now this is a very fast A, but this is a incredibly slow C. So from a time perspective, not ideal, because we would expect this wave C to be like 6, 7, 8, 9 times longer than your A, yeah. You can attach the probabilities to that one, and then it's just not great. It's not like what you like to see. Preferably, even in this scenario, we would also count 1, 2, and then 3, 4, 5, and have a quick C, where wave C ends before like a 6, 5 fib time. So take a fib time from the start to the end of A to the end of B, and then have your C end before the end of September. Right, like end of September, first week of October. That would be in the realms of possibility, but then it's not a diagonal. There's no way a diagonal is gonna finish by the end of this month, right? Like it takes too long. I'm gonna double check here. Take a fib from this to this. Put the 1 to 1 here. So that would be a wave 2, preferably finishes before the 18th of September. Okay, but if we then do, let's say it finishes like on the 15th, 14, 15. Let's say the impulse finishes on Monday, and then we go down. Then you have your wave 3. Preferably 26th of September. Yeah, and then you still need a 4 and a 5, yo. And then of course you have 2, 3. So that's your finish 3. So then you do this to, let's say, a little bit shorter. You double click here. That's your 4. Beginning of October. You start or end your 4, and then you move down in 5. Oh, that would be like mid-October-ish, but that's long. If we want to start, like if this diagonal, if we want to increase probabilities for this, we need to take this low very soon. We can't like keep waiting on price going sideways here. It takes too long. So at the moment, it's time. It's time. We just want to finish this very quick. 1 second, I'm gonna leave that on the chart here. Let me put the 6 on. Oh, not 16. 6. 6. Yeah, this would be okay. Let me change this scenario a bit, make it a bit nicer in time. So we want to finish this before the 6. Remove this, which means that this move up, hopefully we're going to hit 60k, because that's nice resistance. It's the point of control right here. okay, 59.5, but 60k, you also have a daily naked point of control, so it's nice resistance. So it would be best, like ideally, you still move up. And then hit that 59.5, 60k area, reject, right? Everyone becoming bullish, la, 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 and then poof, and then everyone gets wrecked again. And then we have our 3, we need a 4. This would be quite a sharp diagonal, but preferably, of course, as this, and then we do this, pop. This has to be a 3-wave structure internally. This has to be like a WXY of some sort in 2. Of course, as mentioned, preferably we do hit 60 or 59.5, a little bit up, then get a scary move down. Sharp. To, let's say 45. 45, we have some support. Then start our 4. Needs to overlap with wave 1, by the way. And then get 5. Okay, let me adjust. Sorry, guys, it takes a little bit of time, but we are forward thinking with our very, very bearish scenarios. We can't have it expand, of course, so we don't want that. We do want overlap. Like that. Yeah. Oh, wait, now it's still longer. Holy shit. It's not, like, look at this. It's not even easy in time. I need to finish it before the 6. How can we finish such a big move before a 6 fib time? It's literally, it's going to be on the edge. There we go. Just overlap with wave 1, absolutely minimal. Like that. And then sharp. Okay, I think we found something here. And then we do that. You guys are seeing me going into like the nitty-gritty of Elliott waves here, but you know, lining everything up, and then of course this. A little bit of thinking and doing and up. Okay. Then we can remove this to, let's see, today 13, 14, 15. Now imagine today nothing's gonna happen. We have some news later at 4 p.m. so in 28 minutes Central European time. Imagine we still move up, and on Sunday or Monday we create a high at around 60, and then next week we need to go down. Like there's, in this scenario, you can't go sideways, right? So next week you have to go down. In this scenario, there's like no option. If you don't go down next week and take out this low, this scenario will be removed from my chart. It doesn't make any sense. If you don't take this low next week, this whole thing goes off. Maybe the market front runs it. What's the chart doing at the moment? Still hovering here. Bearish CVDs played out, by the way. We have the bullish one, but that's less interesting. You would need to see bullish ones here, though. And we do have nice support at 56,850. That is my area of interest locally to observe the reaction. Okay, so this scenario, we managed to make it work from a time perspective as long as it finishes before the 6. You are going to have a very deep wave Y. Sorry that this stream got a lot more technical than I actually wanted it to be. So if you are new in Elliott waves, you're gonna be scratching your head a few times. But yeah, make sure to check out. By the way, do I have that here? Yeah, check out this playlist. This it's everything you need to know about Elliott waves. If you go through this once, you'll know exactly what I'm talking about. So it might help you. 59,100. Oh, I'll check my my ATAS. But the so for wave Y, so this is green. Your uncommon target is the 1.618, and the target area for your C would be below this. So yeah, by all means, next week take the low. If you don't take the low next week, this whole scenario goes off the chart, because it then doesn't make sense anymore. You need to take the low next week to keep this alive. So preferably today, this weekend, we are ranging here between like 60.5 and 56.8, and preferably actually a little more towards 59.5, 60, so that by early next week, either on Sunday we create a high, or on Monday, and then you start moving down, you know. Okay, and then we have this, but this is expanding diagonal, very rare, never preferred, unless everything else fills. Ta-da! Those are all your bearish scenarios on the monthly, the weekly, the daily, with the probabilities. Arguably, if we had to pick one on a daily time frame, then probability-wise, this one would work best, because expanding diagonal is very rare, never preferred. Counting an impulse down here, overlap between 2 and 4. It's not a rule, but a strong guideline as per Elliott Wave International. And this one works. It's just that if you don't take the low next week, then this one is out, which will, again, lower probabilities for bears as well on the daily. Okay, so let's cover the bullish then, and then we good. No? So the bullish will go quick. So bullish scenario on the weekly is a 5-wave move. This is your 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulse, and you are working on your 4 here, target area 57,142.8, big area, but that's the way it is on a weekly time frame. Invalidation 37.7, and then we wait for 5. Now, the moment the low is in, we want to see a 5-wave impulsive structure coming off the low, and that is the problem we have here at the moment. So that is why preferably this wave 4 is not yet finished, and you'll see in a second, and therefore you preferably still move sideways. The only bullish scenario is a diagonal, but it's too early really to talk about diagonals, but I'm going to talk about them anyway. So this is your conservative, by the way, bullish scenario. Of course, your absolute moon boy bullish scenario is a 112. I have it in my folders, but it is way too bullish for my liking. Not that I like to go price to go to 300k. The problem with these type of predictions is your expectation is going to result in mismanagement of your portfolio. So when you're going to be looking at 300k next, 500k next, you're following the moon boys, you're following the plan B indicator, and you know, like, oh, 100k, what was it? I don't even know what the target was here anymore. Was it 100k, 80k, 150k? And then there we are at 65, 69k. So the problem with these type of scenarios and people talking about such high prices is that if you only put a sell order, a TP, at 300k or 350 or 400 or 500, and you don't manage your expectation while price moves up, you can get wrecked over here, right? That's then what's happening. Remember, I sometimes, I don't often talk about it, but sometimes I do. I was here, right? And what I saw as well is price moving up, and the moon boys talking about, you know, even on television, the audacity, talking about, we go to 300k by the end of the bull run. You know, nice, mate, right? So what happens is, of course, they have such a big audience. And if you do not risk manage your portfolio and you got your TP at 300, then this is what happens, right? And yeah, of course, you can like keep buying, but then you're like, of course, DCing long-term investment strategy. The problem is you have to survive your 70% drop, right? And I don't know, like, look, if you're in this market and you're experienced, you probably know like, oh, this is just part of how it works, right? It will come back up again. But if you're not, and you're like one of like those 95%ers that then follow those type of people, and then the market goes down against expectation, and over here they're like, oh, fuck it, I lost 70% of my investment, stupid industry, I get out. And then here we are again. Right? So it's better in this industry to be conservative, right? And have a conservative target. And based on price moving up, based on the structures we then still need to see, we can create higher expectations, right? Depending on the ranges. So you want to see price move up, create a range, and then based on the range, we can have a very good idea of the probabilities of up or down, right? Give us a range and we know exactly what's happened, right? The ranges always give all the information that we need. It gives it here, it gives it here as well, right? So yeah, don't be on the wrong side of the market if you expect too high prices. But that is your weekly time frame. On the daily, your most bullish scenario is the diagonal. Now, mentioned earlier, it's a little bit early still, but this is your diagonal. So A, B, C finished 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2 up. Preferably, you wait for wave 4 to be in to give this the highest probability. But your low holds. So these are the scenarios where your low is not going to be broken. WXY, 3, 3, 3, 3. Sideways triangle and Y up. Problem here for the bulls though is that triangles in a wave Y are rare and our wave D is not yet finished, and we do like to see a wave D being finished to give a triangle the highest probabilities. So you can see that even for the bulls, right, this is very early. This scenario is also still early and it's a triangle in a wave Y. Then we go to WXYs with then a triangle in Z or a flat, doesn't have highest probability, so a triangle A, B, C, D, E. But then a WXYXZ is very rare, never preferred. And then we have a impulse. Where's my John scenario? Oh, here we go. Which is a double 1, 2. 1, 2, 1, 2, and liftoff. Now the only, like, not the only, but the bullish scenarios, because of this being a higher probability 3-wave structure down, it favors the bulls on the daily, right? If this was an impulse down, which we can count, it's just not great probabilities. If this was an impulse down, then the low was next, easy. The fact is, a 3-waver keeps the bulls alive, right? And gives the bulls the opportunity to continue sideways in the triangle or up in the diagonal, right? So basically your two scenarios is a diagonal down here for the bears and a diagonal up for the bulls. So, and then you have the triangle, of course, but yeah, it's early to talk. So yeah, it's best to focus on the 1 hour time frame and not really on the daily. The 1 hour gives you the info. And here probabilities remain higher for price to take out this high. We touched the 886 here locally, right? Taken from the high to the low. And the 886, rare for 2, common for a wave B or a wave X, increases probabilities for price to still take out the high and for this move down here to be corrective. Now, two areas of interest, area down here, 56.7, and area up here, 59.5 to 60K. Spoke about it earlier. So, yeah. A lot of information, a lot of chatting, a lot of analyzing. But yeah, so this would be an opportunity, observing the reaction, and this would be an opportunity, observing the reaction. It's always, I'm a reactive trader, so I wait for price to show me information once we hit my support and resistance areas. And yeah, at the moment we're literally in the middle of the two boxes. We're also in the middle of the two dailies. 1 second. Oh. We're in the middle of the two local point of controls. We're literally in the middle of, like, if you would pull a range, we're in the middle of the range. You know? So, yeah, 1 hour bullish. This one doesn't have the highest probabilities. The Bettina pattern diagonal would work better because of the 3-wave-ish structure up here. This is your diagonal. And then for the bears, W3 and up. Yeah. In both cases, in all of those cases, you still look for up. So probability is higher on the 1 hour to go up. What about the 15? Well, I didn't really have a look at the 15 for, I suppose, the obvious reason of the 886 being touched. So that I lose interest when the 886 is touched because the probabilities are automatically higher. This is corrective, right? And increases probabilities to take the high. But 15, this is a sharp move down, so we got to make something of it, of course. If this would be a high, this would be a flat, part of a flat ABC. It's a running flat, which is very rare. So preferably this here is either a wave A or wave 1, right? If you would count it as an impulsive structure, you got to go to, this is the problem. You got to go to like a 3-minute, 1-minute time frame to try and, is this a zigzag or is this an impulse? Because your bearish scenario would be chuck, 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 and then, you know, creating an A, B, C, A, and then we need a B, which is the, let's see, in that case you would have A. You don't have any space anymore. It would have been nice to create a bigger 3, take the highs and down without taking this high. So make a lower high, then go down. But look, it doesn't make any sense for me to analyze this, to be honest. This would be classified for me as a waste of time. Because the probabilities are clear and I know my areas of interest, if not in any positions at least, which I am, but still. So, you know, we're in the middle of the range. Okay, good morning, Matt, how you doing? So, yeah, that is the analysis today, guys. Big analysis, you tagged me. Focused also on the bearish scenarios because it's Friday the 13th. Hopefully you enjoyed the theme. What's going on? General question. General, what's that? Okay. Bitcoin Elliott wave. Chatting. Nice to see you guys using some of the emotes. By the way, Jeroen is making new emotes. Something like this. Yeah, but yeah. So the problem here becomes your 5. So your 5, 1 second for the phone users. Up. Can I zoom in here? Yeah. 1, 2, 4. Okay, so like besides the fact of 1 to 4, if this is a 5, like when we have an extended 5, we want to actually also, you know, see a sharp 5, a 5 that is. Wait, let me show you an example here. 1 second. I'm going to show you a teaser example. Okay. Still have to give feedback, right? But this is in the making, right? Some of you know we are making this, some don't. But look, like this is what you like to see. You know what I mean? Extended 5 should be an impulse, can't be a diagonal, should be an impulse, right? You want it to be a strong move. Wave 3 of 5 is commonly the steepest. That's the highest volume, the steepest one. By the way, this is not yet updated to the newest feedback that I've given, right? We also have these like crazy boxes going on, but Jeroen is working on it anyway. But yeah, you know what I mean? So currently, I mean, it's not really what we like to see. If we do want to count a 5 wave in here, then we need you need a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so it's the same, a similar 5 wave count. It's just your 4 is now longer and 5 still have overlap between your wave 2 and your wave 4, which of course in an impulse, that's not really what you like to see, you know. Yo, cheers, Cheese. Have a good one, man. Happy on BBL. Currently, this correction is it 3 wave down or 5? Does it candle up? I mean, this correction here has a higher probability of being, this price action has a higher probability of being corrective, which therefore means ending in a 3 wave structure. And the reason is you touch the 886. Let me keep it on the chart here. Right, it's very rare for wave 2 to touch the 886. So unrelated to like, is it 3 or 5? Highest probability you end in a 3. Of course, you can have a 5-3-5, but yeah, cheers, GTP Slooper. Good luck, good luck. If you look at every halving year, months of October, November, December, have a 100% hit ratio of all of them being positive double digit for Bitcoin, and all October being an 80% month. Ah, interesting, interesting. Very interesting. Of course, we had 3 cycles now, no halvings. I don't know if the day comes ever, but it would be the best opportunity in the history of Bitcoin. The moment that this fails, because of course people focus on the cycle. And it's like, oh, it happened 3 times already, so surely it must happen again. And maybe it will happen again, and we go to like another 100% up, and we end up at like 200, 300K. I mean, I don't mind. Don't understand me wrong. But what I would love to see is this to be wrong at some point, because of the expectation in the market. And of course, the biggest group of retail knowing about this, all the indicators failing, the whole system of Plan B goes out. Like besides, I forgot the name of the system. Again, he's a great person, but it's just so many people follow the standard, and I'm always careful. Now I do have my own investment plan and trading plan and all of that stuff, but the one day that this is gonna fail is gonna be the most bloody like period in the history of Bitcoin, guaranteed. It would also be the best day for opportunities, but yeah, of course you have Bitcoin and you have the limited pool of Bitcoins out there, right? Every halving and less Bitcoin. There's only so many in the world, and you know that makes everyone aware of the rarity in a way, and therefore pushing price up. More people being part of a market with a limited amount of asset. But there's also something in me that says, right, one day that thing is gonna fail. Like, you know, it would be too easy. And I think it's also quite a nice thought, a nice bearish thought to end the stream. Yeah, random name. Yeah, it's also true. I just have it in the back of my mind. I'm not a bear, I'm not a bull. I don't care if price goes to 100K. I don't care if it goes to 10K. You know, I just trade it. You know, Yes, stock to flow. Thanks, Solid Fab. Yeah, like I just trade it. I trade whatever. You know, I don't care where it trades as long as it moves up and down. I'm happy. You know, if it moves sideways, boring. So yeah, and I don't care where it trades. I'm not married to the asset, right? But yeah. How much do you know about the mine? I only know the very basics. Not about mining myself, but just about some of the fundamentals behind Bitcoin. Yeah. I guess most of the people in the market, I mean, nah. I guess most active people that have been here for a longer time will know about a bit of the background of Bitcoin, or they have read the initial report. Maybe next cycle we will see faster top in place and overall ending diagonal fifth wave and down again 50k, top to 50k. Yeah, that's one. That's like even the bullish scenario on the monthly for another 1-2 could see a drop to 50. Yep. So thanks for the spooky bearish stream. Yeah, cheers, man. Cheers. And yeah, thanks everyone for hanging out. It's time. It's almost 4 p.m. So gotta go. Let's see, 1:30, 1.5 hours. Yeah, cheers, Charbel. By the way, Charbel, today, of course, Friday the 13th. So we covered a lot of bearish scenarios today because it's part of the theme. And then the bullish scenarios came at the end. But yeah, hopefully you found it enjoyable, right? So thanks for being here. Power Meet, cheers. Very instructive analysis. Appreciate it, man. Andrew, thanks for being here as well. Thanks for waiting as well, by the way, mate. Make sure to, next time when you see an announcement, or for everyone here, recently, based on recommendations, I started to put an announcement in the YouTube system, like I will be live at this time, because it will help people to like plan in their day, like, oh, Koen is live then, right? So of course I don't expect you to be here, but if you want to, it might help you with your planning. So you know exactly when I'm live, instead of going randomly live somewhere in the afternoon, you see up front when I go live. So make sure to then join the stream the moment I go live, and hang out. So yeah, thanks everyone for being here. Trade safe. You know the probabilities on the 1 hour, on and the other time frames, really, because we covered pretty much everything. So yeah, thanks for being here. Enjoy your day, and tonight will be a normal update. So yeah, let's see where price is by the end of the day. By the way, there's news coming. There's news. Come on, there's news coming in literally a few minutes. I'm closing, man. I'm closing, and it's almost 4 p.m. But I gotta go. 4 p.m. Just make sure, like, final advice, just make sure you trade safe in a couple of minutes, because there is some news. So keep that in mind, right? And then by the end of the day, let's see where price is, and I'll make an update. So that being said, have a good one, and I'll see you at the next live stream.